It's hard to contain your excitement when you get something you've really wanted. Like the gold standard in automotive protection, WeatherTech floor liners. With deep sculpted channels and laser measured for total protection in the front, back, and even up the sides.
Dad, you're going viral.
What? WeatherTech me.
So don't be shy, enjoy. Order your premium American-made products at WeatherTech.com.
You don't get the label black sheep without doing something to earn it. Black sheep aren't bad, they just stand out from the crowd. They look at the status quo and say, we can do that better. And that's exactly what we do.
Big move down the inside for
Oh,
the lead from
Eli takes the lead.
This is going to come down to the finish. Kyle almost side by side, but a good exit will give Laura Eli the win here overall in the first round of the Porsche Sprint Challenge USA West Series.
It's hard to contain your excitement when you get something you've really wanted. Like the gold standard in automotive protection, WeatherTech floor liners. With deep sculpted channels and laser measured for total protection in the front, back, and even up the sides.
Dad, you're going viral.
What? WeatherTech me.
So don't be shy, enjoy. Order your premium American-made products at WeatherTech.com.
Yesterday it was bumper cars. We've got Ashley Freeberg, who drives one of the Porsches in an East Coast sister series. And also, she's a GT Daytona driver in IMSA. And Joe Peak, the series announcer, welcome to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, ladies and gentlemen. And let's get the action going with the second race of the weekend for the Porsche Group.
Thank you so much, Dick Sisich, here with us again. As he said, I'm Joe Peak here with Ashley Freiberg to bring you the action, as while it is the first race of the day here at Laguna Seca, it is the last race of the weekend for the Porsche Sprint Challenge USA West by Yokohama. Yesterday showed us lots and lots of action, Ashley, and it looks like, thankfully, we have all the drivers out on the track, but it was a little bit less Brady Bunch, more Jerry Springer.
Yeah, it was definitely an adventure yesterday, but I'm really happy to see everyone is back out there today, and definitely different conditions today. It is a bit cooler out, so I'd imagine that the track is a lot more similar to how the track conditions were during testing and practice. So hopefully everyone stays clean today.
Absolutely. Now, this is, as we mentioned, the second race of the weekend. And then it's going to be off to Road America for the next round for the USA West Series, although they will combine with the North America Series. And it is getting late in the season, so championship points are going to be important here today to set themselves up for the end of the season. And as we mentioned, with 23 cars out on the track, why don't we head through our starting grid and show you how they're going to begin. With Blake McDonald, he returns on the pole, but he didn't convert it into a win yesterday. It was James Lee who took the victory. He'll start next to him. Will that be a repeat, or will Blake be able to hold back on that? Casey Dennis is going to be starting in third, with Kevin Woods, who was our Masters winner, starting from fourth position. Then that brings us to row 3. Josh Conley, who was in all kinds of action. Somehow that car made it to the finish despite a serious hit. He'll start from fifth, with James Safronis in the sixth position. Then we head down to row 4. Laura Eli also wound up with damage. Didn't even get to finish the race, unfortunately. She'll start 7th, and Patrick Mulcahy will be in P8. On to row number 5. Jim Walsh starts from 9th as Kyle Washington, one of the many drivers that came out with penalties yesterday. He'll start from the 10th position. Then you've got Joel Cortez in 11th, and then Reinhold Kron, another driver that raised the ire of the stewards. He'll start from P12 today. After that, it's Sam Parnagian in 13th position. Jay Barron had quite a bit of damage on the car, unfortunately, but has it fixed. He's back out there starting from 14th. Luke French will begin from 15th position, and then it's going to be Steve Miller in 16th here today. That takes us to Thomas Hacker, another driver that wound up with quite a bit of damage on the car. He'll start from P17. Last of the field will be Mark Krigler in the 18th position here, Ashley.
Then moving on to our Cayman class, Eli Kogan, dominant season so far. He won yesterday, looking for another win today, starting from pole. Second, we have Michael Gawkey on the outside. And then our second row, we'll have Rod Wagner starting in third and Richard Kinsey in fourth. And in row 3, we're going to have Greg Herback in fifth, who had a pretty epic podium finish yesterday. So he's feeling pretty good about that. Hopefully he can repeat today.
I'm sure Greg is going to be excited to try and see if he can do that once again. Just about half a lap to go here, Dick. It's cooler temperatures, so how are you feeling about this one?
Well, you talked about the different conditions. You raced later in the day. Yesterday was a lot warmer, and the first race of the day in the morning was temperatures cooler, the track is cooler, so it's really different conditions, and the drivers are going to have to adapt to that. And maybe they've tweaked the setup a little bit. Ashley, what would you do if you were racing a car here this morning? What changes would you make overnight?
It's a good question. I mean, it really depends on what the car was doing the previous day. Generally, when the track's a bit cooler, you can go to a little bit stiffer of a setup, but ultimately it depends on how your car is handling at this track in general. But certainly on this outlap, you want to make sure you get your tire pressures up efficiently.
They're coming down through the final set of corners, so I'm going to turn it over to Joe Peak for the start. We'll be looking for a green flag as they come out of turn 11 and accelerate up the start-finish straightaway.
Blake McDonald has control of the field. They bunch up nicely out of turn 11, waiting for the green flag from the flag stand. And that is a nice, orderly-looking grid. Green flag is out. Now will they stay orderly down into turn 2, into the Andretti hairpin. Good jump for Blake McDonald. Can he hold back James Lee this time, who looks like he is on a tear of 3 wins in a row? It's going to be a challenge for third overall. That is Kevin Woods versus Casey Dennis. In the meantime, Ashley, here go the Caymans across the start.
Yeah, it looked like a super tight battle there going through turn 1 and 2 in the 992s. It looks like Blake McDonald is holding the lead. Kevin Wood is leading the Masters class right now. Looks like he is 3rd overall, slightly ahead of Casey Dennis.
35 minutes plus 1 lap for this race. Laura Eli in a bit of a battle there with Jim Walsh coming down into turn 5. Thankfully, she doesn't get bumped off this time and is able to carry on. She's got a point to prove today, I imagine. They'll climb up the hill, up the Ray Hall Straight towards the corkscrew, which saw plenty of action. Already, James Lee looks like he is putting pressure on Blake McDonald, hanging right to that rear bumper, but it is very single file Ashley down through the corkscrew.
Yeah, this is a nice first lap in comparison to yesterday. You're speaking of Laura Eli, she's running 2nd in the Masters class right now, currently 8th overall in her Black Sheep Racing machine. Kyle Washington in 3rd in the Masters class.
It looks like I think Kyle may have missed or dropped that position. We'll see what it updates to as they cross the line. And I think, yeah, he has fallen, or no, he has climbed. He has moved up into 2nd. He did the reverse of what I expected there. Great start for Kyle Washington, up to 6th overall. And he's put a couple of the Pro-Am cars between himself and his fellow Masters drivers.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. It looks like he made about 3 positions there at the start. So he's feeling pretty good today. I know he was caught up in quite a bit of chaos yesterday as well.
Down in the Caymans, Eli Kogan is your leader with Michael Gawke leading Greg Herback in 3rd in those Cayman GT4 Club Sport cars. So they are pretty orderly themselves down there. Not seeing much action with it being a bit of a smaller field. Really up in these 992s is where we've seen much of the fun so far this weekend. Does look like Josh Conley has a pretty good run here. I think that might be Washington that he is chasing, so that's out of class, but he needs to get up to James Safronis if he wants to reach 4th place.
Yeah, the multi-class racing definitely makes things a lot more challenging and interesting because you have to be very strategic in terms of who you're racing against and how hard to race them. So, for example, Kevin Woods leading in the Masters class. He is P3 overall, but Casey Dennis, I'm sure, is wanting to charge forward there. You can see he's right on the tail of Kevin Woods trying to get up to the front 2 cars.
And as they come around turn 11, there was an overtake there behind Parnagian. I think that is going to be Luke French getting by Joel Cortez for 12th. That was for Pro-Am position. Nice move by Luke French, who I was talking to yesterday, Ashley, and he said they couldn't seem to get some of the downshifts working on that car, and that is causing some of his poor lap times we've been seeing.
Yeah, hopefully the guys figured it out by now. I mean, it's just one of those things that you kind of have to keep working through every session. So we'll see. Hopefully he can pull it out this race.
For those of you both watching at home and out on the track itself, if you're wondering how to tell these different classes apart, since the 992s have 2 different classes of drivers within them, it is a black number plate for the Pro-Ams. It's a blue number plate for the Masters. Down in the Caymans, you'll see most of them with the yellow number plates, barring Eli Kogan, who is our lone Pro-Am in that series today. Down the hill, they plunge through the corkscrew. Laura Eli still hot on the heels of, I think, Jim Walsh coming through there. And as they'll swing their way back through turn 10, at least we're getting a little bit more green flag racing this time by. I'm watching that lead, Ashley, and James looks like he's ready to try and move up to the front again.
Yeah, James had a dominant win yesterday, a pretty significant lead there. Although it got exciting at the very end, catching some lap traffic. So it looks like James is wanting to capitalize on that again. However, Blake is running really, really strong. So this is a track that's really hard to pass at. So you have to be very, very strategic if you're trying to move forward.
Yeah, Dick, I have to imagine that for Blake, being able to stay ahead at the start this time might be key to him being able to hold off for that win.
Well, it could be, but I've seen more passes in places that people never passed before. There's some side-by-side racing, particularly down the Andretti hairpin. They're staying on the outside of that second apex going into that corner. Also passing up in the corkscrew, which had pretty much been unheard of prior to this.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Of course, there was
and
carnage in the corkscrew yesterday.
Yeah, speaking of which, James just about tried it right there. Nearly got to the inside of Blake down into the corkscrew. Couldn't quite get that one done. For those just joining us, that is the voice of Dick Sisich that is with us for today's broadcast. And the voice of Laguna Seca for many, many years here. So glad to have his expertise at this track. My goodness, Ashley, James is practically pushing him through the corners now.
Yeah, what James has to do here is look at what Blake is doing and figure out where the strengths are and where the weaknesses are. And with this car, there's a lot of aerodynamics involved, so it doesn't have a huge draft. However, the brake performance on this car is pretty fantastic, so you do have to capitalize on your passing in the brake zones, which can be very sketchy, but you have to plan it pretty well in advance. So hopefully he's sort of analyzing that as he goes, but I don't know, Blake's holding pretty strong here. We'll see how this goes.
I imagine he knows that just maintaining this track position going to be important. Another little poke of the nose there from the 255 machine on that bright highlighter yellow number 208 of Blake McDonald. Can't quite make it happen into turn 5. Will we see another move up into the corkscrew if he gets the good enough run? Looks like he's maybe a car length too far back unless he's feeling extremely ambitious here. And the answer is going to be a no. He'll stay in line. Now that third car that you see behind them, that blue machine, that is Kevin Woods. And again, he is a Masters driver. So he has really no purpose or no motivation, I should say, to try and catch and pass James Lee. He's happy in that third place because he's got none of his class drivers around him right now.
Exactly. If I was him, I'd keep that distance that he's at right now and just kind of stay away from that battle going on in front of him.
Well, he's in a catbird seat. If the two leaders have contact and take themselves out, he's got a clear racetrack.
Right.
And I'm sure he'd love an overall win. Another go at it, looking around the outside, but can't quite find the grip. Offline, in fact, he's going to dip a wheel in the dirt, does James Lee, coming out of the Andretti hairpin. Doesn't lose any speed. He's still right on top of our current leader, Blake McDonald. He is really laying the pressure on now. He knows he's got plenty of race left to go. It is 27 minutes plus 1 lap that is left in this event, so he could get opportunities if he stays patient.
Yeah, Blake's
less than 2/10 of a second between those two, and they've been like that since the green flag started. There's just no let up. Lots of pressure being applied to Blake McDonald by James Lee. Is he going to crack, or will he be able to hang on, Ashley?
Yeah, from Blake's perspective, he's doing a great job keeping James behind him. He just got to continue to focus forward. If I saw James drop those wheels coming into turn 3 there, I would know that, James is also working super hard. So from Blake's perspective, I would just focus forward as much as possible and just try to stay as smooth and consistent as possible and hope that James makes more mistakes. But it's definitely a close one here.
And for James, he definitely needs to get those wins over Blake McDonald. The lead coming into this weekend was more than a win's worth over James Lee in the Pro-Am standings. So not only does he need to keep winning, he needs Blake to have some bad days. The third place was a bit of a help for him, that is for sure. But he'll probably need a bit more than that, even if he continues to win every single race, as Blake started off so incredibly consistent. It does look like down in our Masters category, Kyle Washington still holds on to that second place. Jim Walsh is currently in third, but he's 9th overall. He's a ways behind Kyle currently, so needs to have some help. I see a lot of dust, though, out of turn 4. I'm trying to figure out what the cause of that was, Ashley.
Yeah, I didn't catch that either. I'd imagine it might be between the two leaders since they're racing each other pretty hard here, but didn't quite see that.
We'll try and see if we can track that down, figure out what caused that. And we're getting word that it was just a back marker that had dropped a wheel off. That may have actually been down in turn 10 instead. Ooh, I thought I saw maybe a bit of a look from somebody there coming through the corkscrew. May have been Laura Eli trying to see if she can get back past Jim Walsh to get back onto the podium. Last time that she was able to be on the podium was actually race 1 at Circuit of the Americas. So she'd probably like to return to those steps. They'll come across the line. It's about half a second apart now for James Lee. So I think he has got himself a little bit of work to do. Here we go for Parnagian, Ashley. Looks like he's got a run, and I think that might be on Joel Cortez.
That was with Laura Eli, actually. They're battling each other out there. They're not in the same class, but this is for overall position.
So Laura must have had a bit of an issue there coming out of turn 11. She'll give up overall track position. Could be important because she was trying to chase down Jim Walsh for that podium spot in Masters. But for now, she'll have to wait patiently unless Sam makes his own mistake and she can sneak on by as well. Looked like we were checking in for a brief moment coming down the corkscrew with our Caymans. That is still Eli Kogan leading Gawkey and Wagner, your podium up there. Kinsey, though, I think is working hard on Greg Herback.
And that battle between Sofronis and Washington has cooled a little bit. It's about a 2.5-second gap between those two.
Yeah, it actually looks like Josh Conley is right on the tail there of Kyle Washington. Again, it's not for class position. This will be for overall, but I'm sure Josh is wanting to work his way up to James Sofronis and fight for 5th.
Yep, and that would be for 4th in class as well, as they'll come out of the final corner. Ooh, big, I got the tail there from Conley, who is definitely hustling that car. Like we mentioned, he was involved in some incidents yesterday, so another driver that's probably kind of fired up and looking for a good finish today.
Yeah, he's had a string of bad luck. He was joking with me yesterday. Do I have a target on my car or something? And I feel that. I feel I've certainly had a string of bad luck myself like that. So it'd be really great to see him have a good finish today.
So far, everyone has been well behaved. There must have been a heck of a driver's meeting.
Well, there was definitely a lot of talking going on with some of the stewards post-race. We saw some powwows, and I loved Kevin Wood's mention of it when we were chatting with him. He wanted to go back and chat with him himself. He said, "Hold on, I'm getting on my boxing gloves. I got to get back in the fray."
Yeah, the battle is still heating up front. James is not letting Blake get away from him there. There's still quite a bit of time remaining as well. So as we were speaking about before, trying to maintain your tire wear is going to be key as this race goes on.
We've got more than 20 minutes to go in this one before the checkered flag waves.
Did I see Josh Conley ahead of Kyle Washington, though? Yes, I did. And Washington's going to get overtaken as well by Patrick Mulcahy, who's trying to take off after Josh because they are fighting for position. So that is going to move Josh up into 6th overall. And within sight now of James Sofronis in front of him. They cross the line now. Looks like maybe Parnagian has a good run down the front stretch as well on Jim Walsh.
I just want to point out Kevin Woods just ran the fastest lap that time around overall. So Kevin is definitely... Oh, we have an off.
That is Kyle Washington.
Turn 2, the exit of turn 2, car 232 is off. Driver's right, exit of turn 2.
That was race control Morgan Healy letting everybody know where that driver is. So Kyle, it was all going right until it went wrong,
is front at the exit of 5.
Yeah,
49
I'm not sure if
is
he had some
continuing.
issue kind of developing
remains
that
at turn
previous
2.
lap as well.
Turn
We saw
5
him
is
lose a
clear.
couple positions. Here we'll watch the in-car.
Well, he lost a full 2 seconds on that last lap. He turned to 129. He had been comfortably in the 127s prior to that. So there must have been some
232
sort
is
of
attempting
issue.
to continue.
Yeah, it looked like he was a little bit wide of that second apex there and just in the during
replay.
track.
So we'll get another look at it. He had a car to his inside. We've been hearing the drivers say a lot, Ashley, that being offline, there's
now
no
driver's
grip.
right
I wonder if that's
on
part of what he
exit of
lost.
turn 2, everyone.
100%, especially right there. There's definitely
232 has
no grip out
continued.
there.
Turn 2 is
So
clear.
as soon as
You don't want to be on the outside as you exit the end
Turn
of the
8,
hairpin.
turn 8, car
Exactly.
223,
But if
fun,
you're
and is
able to stay
continuing
out
from
there and
turn
go
8.
into
Turn 8 is clear.
Turn 3, you've got the advantage because you'll be on the inside in that corner.
Well, this changes our Masters order. Jim Walsh is now into 2nd. Laura Eli finds herself on the podium in the Masters class, but she still is not quite within reach of Jim Walsh after Parnagian had managed to get by her. Parnagian has been kind of on a move of his own, as on screen we saw some battling between Reinhold Kron and Joel Cortez. We had a bit of an off at the corkscrew, and we'll pull up a replay here to see who that was. Hopefully they'll be able to continue on. Ooh, that was a bit of a scary spin. I have to imagine, Ashley, that when you're sideways on that steep of a bank, that part of you is wondering if you're going to go up and over.
255 is off
Yeah,
course.
looks like
Driver's left, in the driver's right, in the gravel.
Oh, that's James Lee.
Oh, my goodness.
James Lee is off and in the gravel, in the corkscrew.
Turn 6.
Second place has found his race undone. 3 races in a row is not going to become 4, unfortunately, as we check out the onboard here for our broadcast. Now the car is moving. The splitter is off the car, though. He's probably going to have to come in and get that fully taken off if he can get it moving.
He won't be able to drive out if he's going forward the way he's facing. He's facing away from the track, and he's just going to bury that thing and beach it even more because it gets deeper as you get in. He's backing out now. That's the way to do it, but would you want to back out with cars coming over the crest of the hill blind?
255 have both continued. Turn 8 and 9
So let's take a look at the
clear.
replay on that. I physically flinched when he started to back up into that traffic we saw coming. Let's take a look. And he was already off, Ashley, at the top of the hill, so I wonder if that was a braking issue.
Yeah, he might have just slightly overcharged the brake zone there, and once you get behind, there's really no saving it. Yeah, so I think maybe he just charged that brake zone a little too hard.
Maybe just a bit too overeager in that fight with Blake McDonald. And boy, does this free up Blake, Dick, because like you were talking about, the immense pressure that was being put on him has been freed up. And look at the gap that we're now seeing is between them.
Yeah, it seemed like the pressure got to Lee before it got to Blake.
That's a good point. Sometimes I guess you could overdrive the car just a bit too much. And how about Kevin Woods now? Masters class. Now it's all the same machinery between these different classes within the 992 Cup cars. It is just the driver classification, but still impressive that Kevin Woods is looking at an overall podium as it if it would finish as it is right now. Casey Dennis gets promoted into second in Pro-Am, and James Safronis, I believe he was third yesterday, wasn't he, Ashley? I'm trying to remember here. Or no, it was Blake McDonald, excuse me.
Yeah, this is one of James's best performances this year in the Porsche Sprint Challenge West by Yokohama. So pretty cool to see him up on the podium for now. We've got Josh Conley as well having a really solid race this time around. So I'm sure now that he sees a podium in sight, he's going to continue to push forward as well.
You know, Jim Walsh and Sam Parnagian are having a real fight, too. They're only about 0.3 of a second apart. Walsh is currently running in the 6th spot with Parnagian in 7th.
Yeah, and they actually just caught some lap traffic as well, so that's also dicing some things up back there. Oh, they're side by side through the traffic. Jim Walsh makes it through first.
I think that was Kinsey who was allowing them through, and great heads up from him. 3 wide through turn 5, and they all came out the other side. But Jim Walsh with a sneaky move there to get by Parnagian, because, again, he's trying to go after Kevin Woods, who is, frankly, a championship rival down to the inside of one of our Caymans once again, and that was Michael Gawke that he has managed to sneak through. Yesterday we had the 2 yellows, Ashley, and I guess this time it makes sense that they're reaching that traffic a lot quicker.
Yeah, for sure. And great spatial awareness there by Michael Gawke. That was a late pass into the corkscrew, so really clean racing there.
So Gawke is still our leader in the Cayman Masters, but overall in the Cayman it is Kogan that has been running away. So they still have one more car. I think that some of our drivers in the 992s need to overtake. In fact, there goes Kogan in that red and black machine just ahead of them now on our screens. Ooh, that's developing a bit of a battle, actually. That looks like Gawke and Kinsey might be trying to vie for the Masters win.
Yeah, a lot of racing going on in that one shot there. Also, Sam Parnagian did make that move on Jim Walsh into turn 2, so a lot of racing going on here.
15 minutes plus 1 lap left in this race. And we're definitely not shy of action, even though we haven't had quite as much drama, although a few drivers have been off here today, as we've discovered. Poor James Lee down in 13th after his incident. That one was extremely costly. Within class, I believe he's somewhere around 10th position right now, so this is really going to hurt his championship hopes.
Yeah, we've had some surprises, like you say. James Lee, who's usually right up there at the top, made a mistake. And Kyle Washington also was being very aggressive and having a great race. And then it all went wrong for him, too, which is something that doesn't usually happen.
Well, right now, Josh Conley, who finds himself 4th in class, needs to try and get up to James Sofronis. Unfortunately for him, it's about 4 seconds. Not impossible for him to do so. But as we mentioned, Josh has had some bad results lately, and now he's sitting well to maybe be within reach of a podium today. Can he catch up to that number 214 machine before this race is over? Down into the Andretti hairpin once again, and it looks like Galki has put a bit more distance between himself and Kinsey. Kinsey, though, unfortunately not putting distance between himself and the dirt as he puts 2 tires off into the gravel, just as he also has to let some of our 992s by, Ashley.
Oh, and he drops a couple wheels there in turn 4. Nice save. So that was the battle for 3rd.
We've seen so many drivers do that out of turn 4 in pretty much every series that's been competing here at Laguna Seca this weekend. So not uncommon, but it is going to be costly in the end. Now Galki having to give way through turn 6. I definitely would not want to have to do that, Ashley.
Yeah, hopefully Galki has a nice spotter in his ear letting him know all these 992s are coming through with a big head of steam, because he's doing a great job. He's being very aware of everything and getting everyone by clean.
Just saw Laura Eli as well in there. Now, did Laura have a problem? She was marked as behind Reinhold Kron that last lap. And I'll check our cameras here when she goes by to see if she is actually still behind him or if she's gotten that position back. And yeah, there we can see coming out of the final hairpin, at some point, Reinhold has moved himself onto a podium position.
Yeah, that's going to be a tight battle. Yesterday, actually, it was between them, that incident that they had where Laura ended up in the wall in 5. There was a bit of contact there, so I'm sure in the back of Laura's mind, she's wanting to make a clean pass to get by him today. I
was going to say, you know, just as you mentioned it, it hit me that this is probably going to be a bit personal. As a driver, do you have to kind of put those emotions out of your head and treat it like any other battle?
Oh, of course. Anytime you're driving, you have to be very strategic and not emotionally making decisions, for sure.
We'll see if she can manage to catch and pass that 233, if Reinhold can redeem himself after a couple penalties yesterday, if I'm remembering correct. I'll have to double check on that one, but at least one penalty that he had, which was due to the contact that he had with Laura Eli. Ooh, and as the other Eli Kogan, I think, had to get out of the way in a hurry through the corkscrew there to allow one of the 992s through. He does not want to throw this one away. He's been having such a good race here with another victory overall in the Caymans on his hands. If he could just keep it on the track, and he has to do so for about 11 more minutes plus 1 lap. We're coming down to the end of the race. Oh, look at the cut back there, Ashley, from Laura Eli.
Yeah, trying to take advantage of catching lap traffic. However, she's not quite close enough. She might be able to outbrake him here, but it's a little risky, and she makes it happen. So nice pass there by Laura coming down into the Andretti hairpin.
Set that one up beautifully, and that's going to put her back on the podium. But we'll see whether or not Reinhold will drop back or if he's got the pace to continue to try and fight for that position here as they come through turn 4 up towards 5. That was where the contact happened. We actually got a view of the onboard after the race from Laura, showed us what happened. I didn't realize that it came from a dipping of the wheels off of turn 4 for Reinhold Kron that slowed him up, and that's kind of what set that whole chain of events off. But not happening this time here, this beautiful morning in California. as even the fans around the track enjoying the nature around here, as I see someone enjoying one of your pastimes, a mountain biker, Ashley.
I know, I'm like, that guy's my vibe up there riding his bike.
Can't be much better, I suppose, getting a bike ride and a race in at the same time. Blue flags being shown for some of our Caymans. That looks like Patrick Mulcahy trying to go by. That's because he's being chased down right now. That is James Lee, who's probably going to be a little bit faster unless that damage has slowed him up, and trying to work his way back through the field. So I'm sure Mulcahy will not want to be sitting around.
I think you said that Lee lost a splitter or damaged a splitter when he went off up in the corkscrew. That's certainly going to hamper his ability to catch traffic.
Yeah, the splitter on these cars actually do create a lot of downforce, so it will definitely affect the handling for him.
Sure, that's going to make life difficult. We'll see whether or not he can catch up. And wow, actually, he is quite a bit. Okay, he's not having the easiest of times going by Michael Galkey, who's going to pull off to the side, allow the Cup car through, but the damage has been done. The red, white, and black machine of James Lee is now within a few car lengths, and he's easily going to go by the inside of Michael Galkey. Lap traffic, always one of those skills in multi-class racing that can make or break. Seems like James Lee's got a good handle on that one. But now can he catch and pass that car in front of him? So we see the battle for third still close now in the Masters. This is also a fight for 10th overall between Laura and Reinhold. There's James Lee now flashing past us at the corkscrew. Coming up to the back of Patrick Mulcahy. More traffic in front of him. I wonder if Patrick will be more aggressive this time, or doesn't have to be, Ashley, as Eli is very heads up and he allows them through.
Yeah, Eli's just focused on collecting this win, letting everyone get by clean.
Wow, that was quick. Around the outside of turn 11. James is wasting absolutely no time now that he's caught up to Mulcahy here, but almost looks like Dick, maybe he should have waited one more corner, because he lost a lot of time off that outside line there.
Yeah, he went really wide, and that kind of killed his exit speed coming out of that turn too, which that's a critical corner because it launches you onto the only real straightaway here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. So you need a good exit speed out of 11 that final corner for a good lap.
Well,
what's your favorite place to pass here, Ashley?
That's a great question. My favorite place, probably the coolest place to pass, is into the corkscrew just because it's epic. But
have you seen some new things that you may try based on what's happened in these two races, yesterday and today?
Not so much. I would say it's pretty predictable where I'm seeing the passes taking place. The one place I am surprised I haven't seen more passes would be turn 11 coming onto the front straight, because it's a pretty big brake zone, but you would need to carry some mega speed through turn 10 to make that happen.
If it goes wrong, it's going to really hurt you.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, again, knocking on wood, we haven't seen anything go super wrong yet between two cars here today. As and Herback goes wide as he allows Kyle Washington to lap him up through turn 6. Greg is another of our newer drivers here. This is only his 6th professional race that he has run, but is learning quickly, even if he has to drink from the fire hose a little bit. Thankfully, he kept it on track.
Interestingly enough, Kevin Woods has gained a little bit on Blake McDonald as they're driving through all the traffic here.
Now that is going to be an interesting fight. Kevin in the past has kind of told us that he's not really as interested in fighting the other classes. He tends to kind of do his own thing. Even yesterday in the podium ceremony, he said he wasn't worried about what anybody else was doing and playing it safe. And we've got a car off. That's, I believe,
R223
that
remains
is Jay Barron.
Off course, drivers
and
right
he is beached.
at turn
He's spinning
2.
those tires up. So that is actually going to be our first full course caution, most likely, here at the very end of the race. Question will be whether or not we can get this restarted.
Here's a look again.
So we'll get a replay of what put him in there. Did he have help, or was this on his own?
Full course yellow, full course
That
yellow,
looks like
full
that
course
was
yellow.
a
Car
solo
208,
yellow.
you are the leader. Car 208, safety car speed,
Indeed.
please.
So you see on our graphics, for those watching online, in the upper left, it is now
208,
full course
safety car
yellow.
speed, please. You are the leader.
And did my eyes deceive me before that yellow even came out, Ashley? But it looks like Casey Dennis had caught up to Blake McDonald, or is that someone else that I'm seeing?
That was the battle with James Lee, actually. Yeah.
We have a bright yellow and black car leading
All right, everyone, track
a
services
yellow,
is on
white,
scene
and
with
red
the
car. So
223.
we've seen that
Turn
situation a lot in this series. It's just got to figure out which of those cars it is.
Yeah, Dennis is about
208,
7
safety
seconds
car
behind
speed,
Blake
please.
McDonald.
But it will get bunched up. And if they get restarted, this could allow Casey Dennis to try and fight for that
Car
win, but he's going to have to
99, we need you
overtake
pack up, please. Car 99,
Kevin Woods
we
to
need you to
get
pack up
to
the
Blake
cars
McDonald.
in front of you. Car
Now,
208, let's
I'm
start
curious to
building
see
the
if
gap.
this
The
is going
safety
to
car will
be
get
a
you with
quick
the exit
pull
of turn
out
two.
of
Car
the
99,
gravel
we
trap,
need
and
you to
already
pack
they've
up,
got
please.
him from there.
And Laura Ely has moved up into the top 10 overall.
Excellent work from her. And it seems like with the car still going, I think he's going to be able to rejoin pretty quickly. Have to shake off some of that gravel.
All right, safety car, you're going to let 3 cars go by before you get to 208. 99, please pack up. 99, speed up
So that
and
is
pack up.
race control asking some of
208,
the
the
drivers
safety car's right there waiting
lower
for you.
down to try and pack up. And I think that actually may have been a message to Galkey. Yeah, that was to the 99. So they're waving them by. So this will cause a little bit of a delay because they're now going to send those cars on around to catch the back of the field and be out of the way of our battle up at the top. So if you're Blake McDonald, Ashley,
Car 99,
you've
if
got
you need
Kevin
to pull
Woods
off,
between
please look
yourself
for an
and Casey
orange
Dennis.
overlap, please.
You've been leading
223
this
has been
entire
extracted
race.
from the
How do you
gravel
approach this
and
if we
is
get a restart?
continuing on his own power.
Blake is currently leading the championship. So for him, I'm sure he's thinking longer term as well, right? You just want to have a good solid finish first. And then, like you said, right behind him, you have Kevin Woods, who is in a different class. So if I was in Blake's shoes right now, I wouldn't be super worried about Kevin. Even if Kevin wants to make that move and try to go for the overall win, it really doesn't affect Blake in terms of points. So really, Blake's biggest concern is Casey Dennis, who is third overall right now, second in class. But, I mean, it would take quite a bit of passing for Casey to get that far ahead. So for Blake, he's probably just going to focus forward and keep doing what he's doing.
And time is running out as we're under 3 minutes to go in this one before the checkered flag waves.
We could hear race control trying to tell Kyle Washington to actually overtake the pace car, and he hasn't done that quite yet. I wonder if he's waiting. No, he's still not making any motions. So, there we go. Now he's gotten the message and is being sent around. And again, that will potentially delay it unless they decide, even if he doesn't catch the field, they're just going to send him racing to try to finish this one under green. But it's going to be tight. And again, it is the time that you see on the clock in the upper left for those watching at home. Plus, and Michael Galkey is off. Michael Galkey has pulled off to the side of the track on the front stretch.
That's going to, unless he can move it out of there, that yellow's going to stay. Now he's moved it up now, up under the Mission Foods Bridge.
He's backing it up.
That's some really great awareness there to go to a break in the wall if you've got a car issue.
And we saw this in practice as well. Laura Ely did the exact same thing. They kept it green during that session with exactly where Galkey is, and he is going to be completely safe now. He is back behind the barrier. Great stuff for Michael Galkey, but that is little compensation for what was looking like a second potential win in the Masters. Gone away.
Right,
now they are sending a truck there just to check on him, it looks like.
On the front straightaway.
Yeah, with 1 minute remaining, I don't foresee them going green again. Just, I'm sure, great news for Blake and Kevin Woods.
Absolutely.
Both leading. Eli Kogan still leading in the Cayman class as well.
Got a feel for Michael Galkey, as I mentioned or alluded to. Kind of a second win stolen away from him. He was given a penalty for contact he made that actually had knock-on effects for our battle for second in the 992 Pro-Ams, and on track finished in first yesterday, but his penalty sent him down the order. Today was leading Masters with a caution flag out, just had to bring it home, and it looks like the car may have quit on him.
Yeah, it's a tough break. I mean, in racing, all the stars have to align in order to win every single weekend. So hopefully he has some better luck in the future.
Stars not on his side this time around. 10 seconds left on the clock. It is plus 1 lap, but lights are still on the pace car, and that safety truck is still over by Michael. And they are talking to him.
Flag.
So
this time by to
white
your
flag,
field,
which
please.
means
Starter,
this is
flag.
going to finish under yellow. Still, we got some good racing action while it was green here today. Just unfortunately not going to get to finish it with action on track, as you said, for Blake and Kevin. This is not too bad of a thing, as
drivers
they don't
on
have
the
to
front
fight
straight.
for
Safety car and field,
that
stay
victory.
Left. Drivers left
Dick,
on the
what
front
a
straight, please.
contrast from yesterday, where it just seemed like everything was happening everywhere, and today it wasn't lacking action, but it was a lot cleaner.
It was a lot cleaner, and I as I had mentioned earlier, whatever they said at the drivers' meeting must have been effective, because there were a lot of penalties issued yesterday during the race, and it was pretty clean today. I didn't see any penalties listed on our timing monitor. Yellow flags, of course, but no over-aggressive driving, and a couple of surprises with drivers like James Lee going out. So it was a very interesting race and a good race, and it looks like it's going to be the Blake McDonald show for the final event here for Porsche at WeatherTech Raceway in this weekend.
Yeah, big thanks to WeatherTech, one of our sponsors here as well in the Porsche Sprint Challenge USA West, bringing us out here to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, their namesake, and fantastic facility that the drivers have really enjoyed. I almost wonder if James is going to be a bit like some of the drivers in the North America Series, Ashley. I've been blamed for the commentator's curse a few times. Do you guys actually hold any weight on that inside the car?
I'll be honest, I don't even know what that is.
Well,
you talk about someone and all of a sudden they have a big problem.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we are not. It is verboten to say how good someone is doing or they've got the win in the bag, because that almost immediately elicits something bad happen. I'm not superstitious myself, though I do find it amusing, and I have raised the ire of a few drivers for some of my word choices. But today, Blake McDonald brings it down through the corkscrew for the last time, and with no time left on the clock and the white flag out, they are going to prepare that checkered flag at the flag stand. He missed out, didn't even get second place yesterday, getting demoted to third on the last lap. In fact, it was quite a bit of controversy afterwards. He was not happy about how that all went down. But today, as he comes to the line, Blake McDonald is going to weave in celebration as he takes the win in race number 2. And the crew is there to celebrate, cheering him on. In fact, that is a BR Racing 1-2 and a win for BR Racing in both Masters and Pro-Am, Ashley.
Yeah, and really cool to see Laura Eli back on the podium where she belongs. She is, or was currently running second in points, so it's nice to see her back up there.
Eli Kogan going to win in the Caymans, while Richard Kenzie in the Cayman Masters will take victory in that class. So here is your unofficial results on the screen now, with McDonald taking the victory over Kevin Woods, with Casey Dennis finishing P3. And you've got James Sofronis finishing 4th and on the podium within the Pro-Ams. I'll need to check to see if that is his first this season. Josh Conley going to be P5 with Sam Parnagian in 6th. Jim Walsh was 7th, and Luke French 8th. Joel Cortez 9th, as you mentioned. It is going to be Laura Eli rounding out the podium for the Masters, 10th overall. Reinhold Kron was 11th. Patrick Mulcahy, P12 for him. James Lee only able to get to 13th overall. And it's Mark Krigler in P14. Kyle Washington, with his issues, was 15th. As Eli Kogan was 16th overall, but our winner, as I mentioned, in the Cayman class. Richard Kenzie, 17th. Rod Wagner, 18th. Greg Herback, 19th. And Jay Barron in 20th, with Michael Gawkey, Steve Miller, and Thomas Hacker being DNFs for today's race, unfortunately. Well, Dick, I hope we gave you and your friends some excitement this weekend. I know we enjoyed getting to be here, so we can't thank you enough for having us on.
Well, you're always welcome. It was not as exciting as it was yesterday, but it was still a great show and a great weekend for the Porsche Sprint Challenge USA West by Yokohama.
Indeed. And Ashley, these drivers are going to be back for Road America, but before Porsche Sprint Challenge gets there, we have Watkins Glen for the North America Series, and I understand you're going to be racing there.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'll be racing there with Kelly Moss Racing. I'll actually be finishing the season with them. We have Watkins Glen Road America with the West Coast Series as well, and then we're going to finish out the season at Sonoma. And we actually also have our Endurance Series as well, which will continue at Road America. We'll have one at Sonoma, and then our big 6-hour race at COTA. So a lot of action.
Well, fans, hope you enjoyed it. We've got plenty of racing coming left today here at the track. But for those watching at home, thank you for joining us here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. I'm Joe Peak with Ashley Freiberg and our special guest, Dave Sisich, here at the track. Don't go away. We have more coming on the broadcast with our podium ceremonies in a moment.
Raceway store. And I think we're ready down at Victory Circle. Let's go down there and talk to our Porsche winners in Victory Circle.
So let's go through, starting off with our Cayman Masters here today.
Finishing third in the number 49, it's Greg Herback. P2 today. Driving the number 32, it's Rod Wagner. And a bit of a surprise victory today for P1, the number 28, Richard Kenzie. Richard, congratulations on the win. That one kind of came out of the blue, though, I imagine. Do you have any idea what happened to our leader out there up in front?
No, I don't. But it was a little confusing that his problem happened right as the yellow came out. So I didn't know if he was trying to get me to pass him under yellow or something.
Oh, we didn't see that part on the broadcast there, so that certainly adds an interesting element to it. But this seems to have been overall a good weekend. How do you take your victories this weekend?
Oh, I'm loving every second of it. It's a great bounce back from Coda.
That is for sure. Always good to have a rebound. Congratulations and enjoy the win. Richard Kenzie, our victor in the Cayman Masters. And now, let's spray some champagne. Huge congratulations to the Cayman Masters class here for Porsche Sprint Challenge USA West. Now we head to the Pro-Am category. With only one car, once again, it was the number 50 of Eli Kogan. Eli, I feel like we might not have quite as much to talk about here. I mean, how did you feel about today's race?
Feel good. Track was really grippy. It was a bummer to end under caution, but track conditions were good and everyone was courteous, so it's a good race.
You looking forward to Road America next round?
Absolutely.
Great stuff. That's Eli Kogan, our winner in the Pro-Am. Congratulations to Eli. Also winner overall in the Caymans, worth pointing out. So great weekend for Eli Kogan in both events this weekend. That takes us to the Apexon Award. Today, driving the number 215, this goes to Luke French. Apexon Award goes to the driver who is the hard charger of the race. So congratulations to Luke French for winning the Apexon Award. And now, we have the 992 Masters. Finishing in P3, driving the number 209, Laura Eli. Then in second today, in the number 269 machine, it's Jim Walsh. And for the number 294 of Kevin Woods, it is back-to-back victories here today at his home track of WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Congratulations, Kevin. 2 wins in 2 races here at Laguna Seca. This one, though, came with second place overall. Is that a point of pride for you to finish as high up as you can overall in these races?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I always want to win overall if I could, but I think that might be the best I've done as far as overall position. But ultimately, the car was awesome today. I have to thank my engineer, Jim Bell. Did a great job getting the car ready. The whole team, BR Racing, everybody worked on the car. It was incredible today.
Once again, we have to fight these radicals to be heard here today. But you mentioned if you can win overall that you would. We wondered, would you fight Blake if it had stayed green?
Only if I was significantly quicker. Otherwise, I wouldn't fight him for the position. But I would try to pass if I could. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on a great weekend here at your home track. That is our winner today, Kevin Woods. Let's hold up those trophies for the cameras. And now let's spray some champagne. Congratulations to our 992 Masters Podium. And finally, we have our 992 Pro-Am overall podium. Finishing in third today, driving the number 214, James Safronis. Then, in second today, driving the 274, Casey Dennis. And our winner redeemed himself after a third place yesterday. It's the number 208 of Blake McDonald. Blake, congratulations. We theorized hard on to try and keep James Lee behind early in the race.
Okay, and we've got Tom Brewer up here with us.
Feel the pressure from him?
Yeah, James has really stepped it up. I feel like since COTA, and we're going to be like that, I feel like, for the rest of the season. And today was definitely a lot of pressure in the beginning.
First half of the season, you built a pretty healthy points lead, though. Do you feel confident about the championship in comparison to him, or do you feel like he's a serious threat?
No, I mean, I think him and Casey are both threats. I mean, I can't not show up. I got to be there, and I got to really perform, and I know that. So, but I'm going to bring it, and I know they will.
Well, we look forward to the battle, as that's our winner, Blake McDonald, in today's last race of the weekend. Let's show off those trophies for the cameras. And for the last time for the Porsche Sprint Challenge this weekend, let's spray some champagne! Thank you so much for those tuning in at home. We have more racing to come on Flow Racing with the Radicals coming up here at Laguna Seca. But thank you for watching us. I'm Joe Peak. Race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.
Today, the first of the Pro 1340s, and that is Chris McMurray, who is back in position 16. And again, another race winner. In fact, all 3 class winners from yesterday, looking for 3 for 3. Just taking you through row 14 there. So the cars are assembling side by side. We are about to go green here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, for the third and final Radical Cup North America race. And the points are tight. D'Orlando is about 13 points ahead of Missig as they go into this one. McMurray, 14 points of Swelio Almeida. And Clint Field, just 27 points. Clear of his father, John.
Green flag.
And immediately John Field rockets to the front. You could almost see a little bit of wheel spin from the 37 machine as Clint Field chops across the front. Well, sorry, that was actually